Alright YouTube, welcome back. So if you are a user of Fedora, from time to time you may run into a problem where you have some transactions that do not work correctly when you are doing updates on Linux. So for example, normally if you use the command line, if you do a DNF update, which I have already done mine, but if you do a DNF update, it should normally just go through and find any packages that need updates, and it tells you here's the packages that you need to update, and you select yes, no, or you can download them and store them for future use if you want to do the update later. So I do have some new packages here that I could go ahead and update, but I'm not going to do it right now. So I've got 34 packages, and it's going to skip some packages, but for right now I'm going to say no. If you do run the update and you get error messages that look like this, and this is a screen capture that I took a couple nights ago. So with DNF, as you probably discovered, when you do the updates, if you get transaction check errors like these, which are when we have two competing packages that are for all practical purposes identical, but they probably come from different repositories, and I'm going to talk about repositories in a moment. So basically what's happened is the transaction check failed, and we've got two packages that are identical, but they are different versions, or they're in conflict because they came from different repositories. Okay, so normally if we were going to run yum, we would do a yum update -- skip broken. And back in the old days before DNF, yum would of course skip those broken packages and at least let you install all your other packages, and then you could fix the broken packages if you were able to. So now things are a little bit different. With DNF, you actually don't have the option to skip broken packages, unfortunately. So what that means is if you do a DNF update, the packages, if they are broken, not only will they not get updated, but all of your packages will not be updated. So I'm going to give you the first suggestion if you have that problem, and I got some notes up here on another computer. And this I kind of had to figure out on my own, but what you're going to do is try to force it to do the package update, and I'm going to explain all of these switches that I'm putting in. Okay, so let me make this a little bit larger. I don't know why that doesn't work. When I hit Control plus, it should zoom in the terminal. Oh well. So this last command that I've typed out here, so DNF, I'm going to do an update. If you are ready to do the updates, you're going to do -y, which will automatically go ahead and try, so you don't have to sit there and wait and answer yes. This option here basically is trying to say don't be quite so strict on package installations. Just install them if you can. This one says if you've got two different competing packages, try to install the best package that's available. And also I think it's any packages that are best in your repositories. This one, allow erasing, basically says, okay, so if we find a package that is causing a conflict and we have a newer one, can we just go ahead and erase the package? And in this case I put in allow erasing. So yes, erase the current package if it's causing a problem and update it with the newer package. Okay, this is the first option I would use, because anything from here on out is going to be a pain in the butt, I'm not going to lie. Skip broken was a wonderful feature, but it's been removed from DNF. I went and looked at the errata on why it was removed, and I gotta say To me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but it's not there anymore. So anyway, if this option doesn't work, which it did not for me, then things get a little bit more complicated. So the first thing you have to do is have a look at your repositories. Now, repositories are, and you may not even know you did it, but repositories are locations where software is stored that you download. So, for example, if you download Google and install Google Chrome, you now have an enabled repository to update Google, okay, and update Chrome. So I'm going to run DNF repo list, and I'm going to let you see how many repositories I have installed. And I was actually surprised. These are all the repositories. This is a ton of repositories. All right. So here at the top, it has a repo ID. It has the name and its status, so how many packages are in the repository. Here's the deal. If you run into that problem and you simply cannot get the updates to run, the first thing you should really do is disable repositories you don't need, because they're probably causing an issue. If you don't do this, it's possible you'll go through all the work after that, and then you'll just have more problems. Now, there's a couple of ways you can do this. One way, and let me cruise down to the end again here. I'll clear the screen. You can use the config manager and set disabled whatever repository you want to disable, okay? So then you would have the repository name here, all right? And this would disable the repository, so when you run repo list, it is not going to show up. All right, and the second way you can do it, if you change directory to etsy/yum.repos.d, in here are all of your repos. In some ways it's easier to just go ahead and rename your repo that you don't want. For example, if I don't want Dropbox any longer to be checked for updates, all I have to do is change the extension repo to something else. I use MRK for my name, Mark, so if I have to do a find, it's easy for me to locate. So I've changed that one, and now if I do repo list and I grep for Dropbox, it should not show up anymore. So let's find out. I don't know what those are about. However, with the grep looking specifically for Dropbox, it did not show up. I'll just do a regular DNF repo list and see if we see Dropbox in here. No. So at least it is alphabetical. So Dropbox is no longer in there. So disable the repos that you don't need. And basically what I recommend doing if you're trying to get updates, the ones that I would leave enabled are all the official Fedora repos, like this one here. And it says Start Fedora, so it's all the Fedora repos. And you also want to leave updates enabled. Okay, so that's step one. Let me show you this screen capture again. So here was the errors I was getting, and it was, as an example, okay, elf utils was causing a problem here. All right, so I know that's an issue, and what I did is I ran the RPM command. Hopefully you can see that good enough. Is there any way to make it bigger? There we go. I ran the RPM command. So you do an RPM-QA grep elf utils. So I'm looking specifically using RPM, querying all, but I'm doing a grep on elf utils. And here's what I discovered. If you look at this listing here, I have elfutils libs 166-1, and I've got 165-2. So this one is the older package. So what I need to do is do a remove of these. I can use RPM to do the remove, but it's actually easier to use yum or DNF. And you see here, I'm so used to yum, I actually tried to do yum to remove it. Luckily, it redirects me to DNF, but sometimes it just tells you, hey, by the way, you can't do that because DNF doesn't work. And of course, I had some typos. You got to watch out for those. So down here, I did the DNF remove elfutils libelf 0.165-2, okay? And it actually went ahead and removed all 3 packages for me, so it's a lot less work for me than using RPM, okay? Because it finds the dependencies and it removes them for you. So that solved that one. And what I had to do is go through each of these that were causing errors and do the remove. Now you'll notice because I removed elfutils, I only had to do one command using DNF remove, and I actually removed all of these elfutils errors. This one I had to do separately because it was a different package, but it was easy. I did the same thing. I did an RPM-QA, and I grepped on lib seccomp, and was able to find that package and get rid of that package. Once I had all of these removed, okay, so I did the DNF remove, I got rid of the oldest package, I was ready to go back, and in this case I didn't use any switches at all. I just went ahead and did a DNF update -y and tried to get update to run and go through, and I was able to get it to go through. After that, I came back and I renamed my packages to repo, and I'm now ready for the final step, which is to go ahead and do DNF update again. And you can see that I've got some packages here that it's waiting to do an install on. Okay, there are actually some legitimate updates, and then user paper is a GTK theme for paper. I have Numix up here that needs to be updated, libcurl, some other things that are going to be updated, and I can tell who's going to be doing the updating. So I've got some handbrakes here, Fedora handbrake, because I have handbrake on here. Google Chrome wants to do an update because there's a new stable version. Most of these are the official updates, but some of these can cause problems, and if they do install a package that conflicts with that package, so for example, let's say home here, this particular Arc theme, this repository installs a package that conflicts with the official update package. I may choose, if it keeps happening, to just disable it, which means I wouldn't get updates on the Arc theme, but honestly I don't want to have to go through this all the time. So in the future I'm going to go ahead and do the update. I'm not going to sit here and make you guys wait for this entire update, but those are the steps that I had to go through to actually get everything functional and to get my updates to start working again. It wasn't too bad. It took me maybe 20 minutes, but unfortunately it is one of the unpleasant side effects of Linux that makes users not want to use Linux, because they do expect updates to just work perfectly. But if you think about Windows 10, I don't know about you, but I've had trouble getting updates in Windows 10. So it seems to me that every operating system presents its own problems, and my experience has been the more I work with Linux, which for now has been quite a long time, so getting on towards 2 decades, you know, I'm just as comfortable fixing problems in Linux as I am fixing problems in Windows. I'm starting to learn more and more about Mac OS, but they all present their problems. So hopefully this helps you. It certainly did help me get through things. I really couldn't find anything that was helping me figure out how to get DNF to go ahead and do the installs again once it had a transaction dependency error. And I kind of had to figure it out myself. But That's okay. That's what we're here for, right? Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, like and subscribe, and I hope to see you next time.